Hey, what's up, YouTube? Steven Slade here. I'm with the Night Owl again,
Hello.
and we are reacting to another Mr. Nightmare video today. So, before you freak out over the same shirt, um, this is 5 Disturbing True Home Alone Stories by Mr. Nightmare. Um,
Home Alone. Eesh.
I'm actually gonna be home alone all night too, so that's great. And
Yeah.
and I'm also out in the middle of the country, so that's also great. So let's get into it.
Let's just get to
Perfect. Exactly what I want to hear today.
it.
I want to be paranoid all day. Let's do it.
Yeah, and have nightmares and everything.
I'm
Yay.
30 years old, and I share a house with my sister. It's a 2-floor house, a
That better be all you share with your sister.
mother-daughter house, meaning it has 2 kitchens. My sister takes the downstairs, I take the upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
My sister isn't home a lot because
Bet
she
you do.
often stays with her boyfriend who lives 20 miles away.
Okay, never mind.
Like
we're
I
good.
said,
Oh,
I'm 30. I
20
shouldn't
miles
let being
away.
home alone ever freak me out. But admittedly, sometimes it does. This
Yeah.
happened on a night that I was home alone in my living room watching a
You know what? Don't let society say, if you can't be home alone, you're a pussy. No, honestly, being
No.
home alone can be very scary. It can be.
I was going to say that. You know what? Don't ever be afraid to admit that you're afraid to be home alone because I mean, I was that kid that was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to run from I have to flick off the light, pardon me, and run to my bed right away."
Like
Had to.
when I'm home
You know.
alone, like sometimes I'll hear noises and I think I'll hear noises and I'm just like, or like the wind chimes will start moving when there's no wind and I'll freak out. I'm like, man, stuff's happening. Stuff's happening. Need the Ghost Adventures boys out here. Come on, Zach. I need you out here, buddy. I lock Aaron.
Yeah,
I lock Aaron in the room by himself. So
exactly.
yeah, no, definitely. Like it just happens. I think everyone's got that fear, and they don't ever admit it. To some extent,
Absolutely.
it's crazy.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
scary movie. My part of the house is an open layout, so the living room, dining room, and kitchen are all one big space. My
Oh,
couch
good.
is in the middle of the space, so as I watch TV on the couch, my back is to a large part of the room behind me. So for those a little more easily spooked, it wouldn't be the most comfortable place to be sitting alone watching a scary movie. I'll
Okay, I
admit,
see
as
what
I
he
watched
says.
in the
I see what he
dark room
says.
with
Okay.
nothing but the light from the TV to cancel the darkness of the room, I found myself glancing over my shoulder a lot.
Basically, he was saying, I'm not trying to pause it a lot, but basically, he's saying so his layout is like four quadrants. It seems like,
Yeah.
and like the middle has this couch in between like all four of the connecting quadrants. It seems like it
Right.
has like the little like wall, like the space, like the little door, like the doorways, but they're not doors. They're like just little like walkways. I see what he means by that.
Yeah.
Just a regular living room, I
I
guess.
like to think I'm not the only
Yeah.
30-year-old male that does that. But anyway, after the
No.
movie, I brushed my teeth, turned off all the lights in the house, then went to sleep. My sleep lasted for about 2 hours. I woke up around 1 a.m., and I wasn't sure why I woke up at first. Then I heard a voice downstairs. It sounded like my sister. It sounded like she was inside the house, so it's not like she was calling for me to open the door. But still, I knew it was my sister's voice. I didn't know what she was yelling up to me though, but I was still groggy and not thinking straight. All I could think was that she must have been calling for me, or arguing with her boyfriend. So I got out of bed and went
Oh, is it like some freaking demon with her voice?
Uh,
Because
oh,
demons can mimic. So, oh
yeah.
man,
No thanks.
into the pitch black hall. I turned on the hallway lights and then made my way through the living room and heard my sister's voice again from downstairs. Now I could understand her to be saying my name. I made my way downstairs in the dark, yelling back at her, "What is it?" I looked for the light switch in the foyer downstairs, but couldn't find it. I'm not lying when I say I was groggy as hell. I walked down her little hallway towards her kitchen, find a light switch, and flick it on. The light in the kitchen lights up her little apartment, including her living room. The light starts off dim and needs time to brighten up, but I still saw that there was no one down there. Not her, not her boyfriend. I went to her bedroom, but it was empty. I called her name really loudly one time. No one called back, but shortly after I yelled, I heard something drop to the floor in my sister's bedroom, which I had just checked and it was empty. I
Oh,
went back
God.
up the stairs like a little kid and went back to my bed to where my phone was. I tried to call her a few times, but she didn't pick up. I had myself locked in my room, wondering if I had just hallucinated all of that. Eventually, I fell asleep, and in the morning, I woke up to text from my sister asking why I called her at 1 a.m. I asked her if she was home last night, and she told me no, she was currently staying at her boyfriend's house.
Oh, shit.
I went downstairs to her bedroom to see what may have fallen down on the floor, but there was not a single object on the floor that could have made that noise. I'm led to believe I hallucinated everything I heard that night.
No, you didn't.
That's what I want to believe, because the alternative would be much more horrific.
Yeah.
I've never really hallucinated anything else, or had any kind of sleep disorders. So how vividly I heard my sister's voice, and that sound in her room, really freaks me out.
Yeah. No doubt.
Like this one thing I was watching where this guy kept saying "mom," and then he heard his mom's voice calling back to him in the basement. So he kept going down there. He went down there to look for her, and kept saying
nothing's down there.
Kept hearing "mom," or he kept saying "mom," and she kept saying his name back, and he kept hearing it like going to like this like weird like crawl space cabinet. He opened it, went in there, nothing there. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's like chills fucking demon shit that you get. That's freaky.
No, thank you. No, I'd be out of there. Okay, here we go. Story 2.
I was left home alone a lot as a kid, just due to the fact that my mom was single for a good chunk of my upbringing, and she worked as an RN on a crappy RN schedule.
Sure she did.
And my brother went away to college. This was a night that my mom was working an overnight. It was a weekend night, so I had this girl Molly over who I was talking to.
She was overnight already.
And she hung out for a while. We watched a couple movies and whatnot, and eventually she had to go home because her parents don't like her out late. So I was left alone to hold down the fort. I continued to watch TV in my room and bed. My bedroom is upstairs next to the backyard, so when someone dragged one of the chairs on the deck outside, I heard it. I got up and looked out the window, and I saw someone sitting on one of the...
Is someone trying to climb into your damn house, bro?
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's like backyards. No thanks.
Deck chairs down below. I called Molly's name thinking it was her. After all, she'd only left under 10 minutes ago. Whoever it was looked up at me, but it wasn't Molly. I immediately pulled away from the window to hide. That was not anybody I recognized.
I guess you heard banging and knocking.
Not in the darkness, at least.
Yeah.
I texted a few close friends in our group chat if it was one of them messing with me. The ones who answered all said no, and asked what I was talking about. I didn't really believe any of my friends would come to my house to mess with me like that anyway.
Yeah.
Scared shitless, but still curious, I slowly walked back over to the window to look down again, and that person was still sitting in the chair, looking up at my window.
Dude!
It was a he.
What the hell,
He
man?
definitely saw me. I
That's
hurried
not
away from the
good.
window again to turn off the TV. I sat in my bed in a ball, basically, with my arms wrapped around my knees. I waited in darkness for a while. I didn't even want to turn my phone screen on because I was scared he'd see the light. I didn't even want to move because the window was opened, and I feared that he'd hear any movement I made. I wanted him to assume I was just no longer in the bedroom.
The window was open?
I waited enough time. It had to be a solid 5 minutes of just sitting there. I highly doubted that man outside could still be there. I finally mustered up the courage to get up and look out the window. I felt a little part of me die inside when I saw he was still down there, looking up at my window.
Dude!
Instead of running away from the window again, I tried to be brave and said down to him, "What do you want?" I then noticed his shoulders started to go up and down as if he were laughing really hard, but he didn't make any kind of audible laughing sounds at first, till I heard a slight whistling sound coming from him. It seemed like he was laughing so hard that he was wheezing. I asked him to please go away, then walked away from the window again. I went back to my bed. I was scared to call the police for some reason. I left my room and sat at the top of the stairway listening. The back door was being pushed. He was trying to get into the house.
Dude.
I ran back to my room to hide again. I was 14, I didn't know what else to do. Eventually I heard the front door's doorknob being fiddled with, and the man trying to push the front door open as well. He gave up quickly, thank God. I closed my bedroom window and curtains. If our doors weren't locked, I could have been killed easily. I was skinny and weak when I was 14, and definitely not a fighter. I didn't leave my room again that night until my mom got home around 9. I told her what happened, and her reaction was angry at me for not calling 911
Really?
In hindsight, that was
Really?
Come on. You're telling me that parent or child, that you're, scared out of your wits. There's a guy in your backyard. You don't know what to do, and you're going to call the police right away.
Your mom leaves you home alone every freaking night,
Yeah.
and she's gonna get mad at you for freezing up.
Yeah.
Like, what?
No.
Man,
I'm sorry. Yeah. Come on now.
that's just
was
brutal.
very stupid of me. One of the many things I did, or rather didn't do at a young age, that I question greatly.
Okay, now you can't blame yourself for that now because of what she says.
Yeah, like, I agree with you there. I have to say that, had she been able to be home and had not had to work the night shift, or at least found someone that could have stayed with him, like 14,
Shouldn't be home alone.
I mean, yeah, exactly. It's like you're able to be on your own at 14, but still, it's like, I don't know, I still wouldn't trust it, especially when you're gone all night.
Yeah.
If it's a few hours, okay, maybe, but not all night.
What if the man would have came with the door, and the doors are unlocked, or he knocked and the boy answered because the guy was like, he was just knocking on the door. Oh, I need you. I need to speak with the parent of the house, and then he's like, oh, I'm the only one here. Oh, are you now? That's something that happens. Luckily, he
Exactly.
was
Like, you
smart
could be
enough to
really
at least have the
careful.
doors locked. I don't like he left the window open, but
Yeah. I mean, it may have been summer, been hot. They might not have had air conditioning, but even so, it's still.
it might have been high enough up that he couldn't get to it, but still.
Yeah, that's still creepy because,
You
like.
can't get mad at the
Even,
kid for that. I disagree
no,
with that.
not
I
at
think
all.
that mom was a B for that. Yeah,
Yeah. You can't get mad at him if you're going to leave him alone all the time.
Now he's never gonna be alone anymore, ever.
Exactly. He's going to be like, I'm staying at my buddy's house tonight. Bye.
I'd be freaking freaked too.
Yeah. I mean, even at our age, we still get freaked out by stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
a 14-year-old, you can only imagine what was going on in his mind.
Right. All he's thinking is, alright, I'm dead.
Yeah.
This was the story of how I almost died as a young kid, home alone.
Oh, shit.
Again?
Possibly the most intense night of my life with way too much going on.
Yeah.
We're a family of 5. I was 10 at the time.
10?
My older brother was 14, my little sister was 5.
And 5.
It was a Friday night. My brother was out with his friends causing trouble, clearly,
Of course.
because a dreaded phone call came to my parents. All I remember was I was in my room playing a Star Wars video game when I heard my mom start freaking out crying. I got really scared and hurried to see what was wrong. My mom was on the phone with the hospital, calling to inform my parents that my brother had gotten hit by a car.
Oh.
Obviously, we were all shaken and really scared. My
14-year-old?
brother's leg was broken, but I don't know what else was said on the phone. All I know is my parents hurried to get their coats on and got my little sister.
I thought he was gonna say that they got arrested causing trouble. I didn't realize it was gonna go this dark. Holy moly.
Yeah,
His brother was 14.
From her room and asked me if I was okay to stay home alone. I said yes, and they hurried out to the car and left. I was of course really worried for my brother, but I really didn't want to go to the hospital and see him in any kind of bad condition. I don't think my parents wanted me or my sister to either, but they didn't want to leave my 5-year-old sister home without them. It's worth mentioning my brother recovered just fine, as his injury is no longer relevant to the story, other than it being the reason why I was left home alone on a Friday
that's
night.
Good, then.
Before my dad
at
left,
least he was okay.
he was trying to calm down my mom, telling her he was going to be okay. So seeing my dad like that made me feel better. I had a feeling my mom was just being overdramatic like any mom would be.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I continued playing the Star Wars
Your
game
son
for a
just got
couple
hit
more
by a car,
hours.
so I get it.
When I heard the front door open,
Yeah, absolutely.
I had my bedroom door closed. By this point, it was easily past midnight and past my bedtime, so I turned off the TV and PlayStation and crawled into my bed with my Game Boy. I tried listening to hear my parents' voices, maybe hear if my brother was with them or just hear what they were saying, but I didn't hear anything. After a few minutes of not hearing them even come up the stairs, I had a feeling something was wrong. I went to my door and quietly opened it,
They're in the
then
house?
walked over to the ledge and banister that overlooked the living room. The lights were off, but there were 3 tall people standing in my living room.
No.
They weren't my family. I was so petrified that I was frozen for a second before I could quietly walk back into my room and shut the door as quietly as I could in my trepidation. But it wasn't quiet enough, and I knew it. They had to have heard the door click shut, even if just slightly. I hurried to my closet door, opened it quietly, stepped inside, then shut the door. I had myself sitting behind a bunch of the boxes and bags of clothes that were stuffed in my closet. I was actually pretty covered from view. There was this short period that felt like forever that I was anticipating my bedroom door open, and it did. And at that moment, I knew I was going to die. I heard footsteps walk into the room.
By the way.
I couldn't tell how many people. It may have been one, it may have been two. I heard the footsteps move to my bed. Then I heard my covers being played with. Then silence. Then more footsteps towards the closet door.
No.
And silence for a few seconds. And then the closet door opened.
Shit.
My heart was in my throat by this point. All I did was sit quietly and hold my breath. The door was open for a really long time, but I didn't look up. I didn't move. It had to be a good 20 seconds of silence before the door closed again.
Oh my god.
Footsteps walked away from the door and out of the room. I finally looked up, and I just realized, from where I was crouched down behind the bags and boxes, I may have been visible to that person. It wasn't until probably an hour that I heard my parents return. I ran downstairs to them. The front door was left ajar by the people who broke in, and they had stolen a number of valuables from our house. It was a night that just went from bad to worse for our family. My parents were in such a rush when they left for the hospital that they apparently didn't even lock the door. I was lucky to have not been killed or kidnapped. I look back now and really wonder if the person who opened the closet and just stood there for 20 seconds saw me hiding in there. Maybe he was just a guy that came to rob a house, not to kidnap or hurt a child. Or maybe he just
saw him
didn't
and
see
said
me,
no.
and I just narrowly escaped death or injury.
Holy crap!
Shit, man.
How do you deal with that at 10 years old? Like, I can't even imagine.
I was home alone for an entire week one time when I was still a teenager living with my parents, which was a rare occasion since my parents don't go out a lot. My mom's rich friend Patty invited my
I think he saw him. I think he generally saw him.
Yeah.
Because if he was sitting there and he said it was about 20 seconds of silence, that means that the guy was contemplating what he wanted to do.
I'm glad he decided not to do anything, and I'm glad that whoever was there to rob the house didn't hurt the kid. Maybe he realized how old he was and said, okay, no, he's just a little kid. We're going to leave him.
Honestly, with it being 20 seconds, he probably saw the kid hiding. He said he never looked up. So he said he heard two people in the room, go to the room. So the one guy was probably doing gestures. The other one's, asking him what to do or something. Then he shut the door. I think that's probably what happened. So thank God for that, which that had to be a miracle. But they still lost a lot. And that right after his brother just got ran over. That's a horrible night. Probably one of the worst nights you can ever ask for.
Exactly. Cheapers.
Parents on a trip that she was paying for. I'm an only child, so I was left alone in the house. We lived in Newark, Ohio, which is in Licking County.
That's cool looking.
Yes, our county was actually called Licking County.
Okay.
My parents' old house had woods in the backyard and was on some quiet road that only a few cars would pass per day.
You already
We had
know.
a huge deck in the backyard overlooking the woods and a decently large backyard. We even had a little fish pond and above-ground swimming pool.
Oh, wow.
This was on a Thursday night. I remember because I had conversations with friends about plans for the weekend that day. This was in July of 2013.
Wow.
I was out on the deck smoking weed with my speaker playing music.
Yeah.
That's about the time it started. I thought I heard a voice from out in the woods.
Ivan.
I lowered the music and listened for a little bit. It didn't repeat, so I raised it back up. When the music was loud again, I heard a voice from out in the woods again. This time I turned the music off completely and listened for longer.
Dude, it's a damn skinwalker, bro. They're telling you, it's the damn skinwalkers coming from the woods, dude. I'm telling you, man.
There was a voice calling from the woods
or some
again,
creature
confirming
or whatever.
I wasn't just hearing
demon
things.
or some.
It was a male's
Anything.
voice saying, "Hey, over here."
Oh shit.
It was kind of distant, but not too far. The woods were anywhere from 20 to 30 yards away from the deck, and that's where the voice was coming from. I didn't think in a million years it was someone calling out for me, though. Rather, maybe just some kids playing manhunt or something. The voice called out again,
yeah.
"Hey, over here, we need help." This time I realized the voice was too deep to be a kid. And when a voice yells out, "We need help," obviously that'll always be slightly concerning. I was getting a little bit uncomfortable.
It always means it's a trap, and they're trying to get you in there so they can bait you in. That's what
Especially
that means.
if it's an adult,
Yeah.
you know, like...
And just randomly in the backyard in your woods, like, come on, dude. You know?
Yeah, but that has to mean somebody's been watching the house and waited for his parents to go away.
Yeah.
You know?
Just mapping it out, yeah.
Why the parents, even as a teenager, he must have been 17 or 18, wouldn't make sure that there was
he's smoking
somebody...
weed, so he had to be around at least later teens, you would think.
But I mean, to at least have somebody watching over the house
to
make sure he was okay, like, you know, I don't know.
Well, apparently he was a rebel, because if he's playing music and smoking pot, then he probably didn't have a good relationship with his parents anyway.
Yeah, true.
So maybe that adds to it.
Could do. Yeah, you could be right.
Comfortable now, because now I was questioning if these yells were directed at me. Now I heard the voice yell, "Straight in front of you, please come help us."
Yeah.
And the voice was coming straight in front of me in the woods. Now I had a feeling this was directed at me. I reluctantly called back, "Who is that?" And they responded, "We just need help. We're stuck in the woods."
Mm-hmm.
I called back, "What does that mean?" And the voice replied back, "Just please come help, straight in front of you." I got out from my seat, walked down the steps of the deck onto the grass, and proceeded towards the woods.
Dude!
I called out, "I'm coming. Where are you?" The voice replied instantly, "Right in front of you, I see you." I replied back,
"Is it a demon? Is it just a demon?"
Like, where's this guy's flashlight?
This dude's about to get diddled. He's about to get murdered. I don't know what else, man.
Oh, God, yeah.
About to get freaking kidnapped and beaten so that they can rob the dude's house. Like, who knows what's about to happen to this kid?
Oh.
And when you're home alone, you can't be doing shit like this, man.
No, not at all. I'm sorry. I would be like, let me call the police for you if you need help, and let me know what kind of help you need.
Yeah.
You know? What I would be doing. I wouldn't be going into the woods.
Because they're like, no, that's okay. You don't have to call the police. That's when, that's the red flags you gotta be looking for, man. You can't just be helping the first person that asks for help.
Exactly.
Oh, here we go.
"Wait, are you alone or with someone?" There was no answer this time. I stopped in my tracks about halfway towards the woods.
He said we need help, so he's with somebody.
I had a bad feeling in my gut about this. I started walking backwards, back towards the house and the deck. I didn't even want to turn my back to the woods, because it took me that long to realize there was something very suspicious about this situation. I made it back to the deck, and the voice didn't say anything else. If they truly saw me and this was real, they would have said something like, "Where are you going?" at the very least. They knew I was onto the situation, but who even knows how many people were in there? Could have been one, could have been three. All I know is getting stuck in the woods makes absolutely no sense, especially if he or they were able to literally see me. Like what?
Yeah.
Did their shirt get caught on a branch? I went inside the house and locked all the doors just to be safe. I chilled in my living room for a bit, still high, and I think that's why I was more trusting at first, because of how high and relaxed I was. Then though, I heard the voice again from outside, closer now, definitely in the backyard and not the woods anymore. I heard a splashing of water. It could have been the pool or the pond. I hurried to the window to see. I didn't see anyone at first, but then the voice called, "I see you," with a laugh. I noticed him. It was one guy, at least one guy visible. He was hidden behind the pool on the other side, and I could only see his head. It was just too dark to make out anything besides his dark, medium-length hair. I closed the blinds and tried to ignore it. Maybe he'd lose interest if he saw I wasn't entertaining him. He was probably a sick, deranged person who enjoyed messing with people, so I didn't want to give him what he wanted. But my breaking point was when there was a horrible, aggressive banging on the window where I had just closed the blinds. And on the other side, the guy was screaming, "Help." I screamed at the top of my lungs to "Fuck off, you freak, the police are coming."
Oh, shit.
I screamed it over and over, trying to make myself sound crazier than him. I heard him start to laugh on the other side of the glass. His laughing started to fade away as I assume he walked away. I sat back down on the couch, trembling, shaking, out of breath. I sat there for a while, and it seemed like the guy had really given up. I still got a good night's sleep that night because weed helps me sleep. I wonder if I would have handled that situation any differently if I wasn't high, though.
True.
The situation made me more paranoid about who I opened my door to.
Yeah. I would have been completely freaked out.
There's a man in the back of your house in the damn woods.
Gee, don't get freaked out at all.
Is that not the first flag you see? Oh, he's just casually in my backyard, in my woods, like, you know. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm lost in the woods even though I see you, dude. Yeah, that's fine. You know.
Yeah, and if that help me, and he's banging on your window. I'm sorry. When I saw him on the other side of my pool, I would have called the police and been like, "There's some weirdo in my backyard. I've done everything to try to ignore this guy. Keeps telling me he needs help. Can you come help me?"
It's just I don't understand, man. Some people are just too trusting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I understand what he was saying though. Like when you're high, you're relaxed, you're chill, you know, whatever. I do get that, but for some people it makes them really paranoid. So it could have had a different reaction for him, but
his woods.
I know. How can you not be worried about that? Especially the fact that the guy said, like he said, "I can see you." That would have been the first red flag for me. If you can see me, you ain't lost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you want me to make you a damn sandwich while you're hanging out in my pool, bro? Like, come on, dude. Splashing around in my damn pool. Yeah.
Can I get you a drink? My butler's gone for the night, but you know.
I'll duck this head in the damn pool and freaking.
I'm 23 years old.
Baptize him
I
in my
live at
damn
home
pool,
with my
like,
parents
dude,
still.
Get out of here.
One day they were both not home, and I was outside playing basketball in the front yard.
So this guy's 23.
While I was playing,
Okay.
I looked up at one of our upstairs windows and saw a woman standing there.
What the?
Is it a damn demon? Is it?
Oh my god!
Or is someone living in your damn attic or something like that? That's the story I hear too. Is like there's a lot of people that like will break into attics and just live in the attics and stuff. That shit's creepy.
That is creepy. I heard about that. I actually just watched a movie on Netflix. I can't remember the title of it now. Where stuff kept happening to this family, and a guy ended up killing himself or something like that. Right? Well, then this new family ends up moving in after they clean up the house and everything else, and the same stuff starts happening over and over again. And they find out that there's the last one that lived there, the woman cheated with this one guy, and she broke up with him or something, but he ended up hiding in a portion of the house that they were trying to expand.
Yeah.
It was through a secret wall in the closet in the front hall of the house.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, thank you. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I've seen like freaking security footage people because they kept finding like food missing. So they had a security footage, and this dude literally came off like out of the ceiling, crawled into the kitchen, just opened up the damn milk, started drinking it. It was a female. Started opening up, just started drinking, just chilling and drinking the milk. Left the milk on the table and went back upstairs. Like,
yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, no thanks.
It's freaky. Because, like, they're literally right there. They can murder you and you won't even know it because you're asleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Not my mom, not my sister.
I'm glad I don't have a basement or an attic.
I guess when she saw me looking at her, she dipped
man.
away from the window. When I went inside and upstairs to check the lounge room, she wasn't anywhere. I checked every single room I could. Every bedroom,
nice
the bathroom, every closet.
That's pretty.
Then I checked the downstairs, which included the living room, kitchen, dining room, one bedroom, and more closets. Finally, I checked the basement, and I highly doubted she could be down there. It's a small basement with a couple couches, a bar, and 2 closets. There weren't many places for someone to hide, but when I opened the second closet door, I was incredibly scared, as I didn't know of any other places someone could be hiding in the house. This was the last unchecked spot that I could think of.
No.
I yanked the door open as if I were ripping off a band-aid, and like I did with the closet before this one, I right away pushed myself into the closet just in case that woman was in there and I'd have the jump on her. But all I pushed myself into was a bunch of coats and coat hangers. I was so confused.
It's a spirit.
I wasn't going to question my sanity, though. I definitely saw that woman, and I knew it. It wasn't the kind of thing you would just so vividly imagine. I went back to the middle floor and screamed very loud that whoever was in the house needs to get the F out.
Yeah.
I actually screamed so loud that our next door neighbor came over and asked if I was okay.
Oh, damn.
I told him that I literally just saw a woman at our upstairs window watching me play basketball. He came in and helped me search again. When we couldn't find her, I was left to assume that she snuck out through the back door, which I did unlock after all when I went to grab the basketball from the yard.
Oh.
So my neighbor left. I locked all the doors, called my parents, and told them the crazy story, and they weren't too thrilled. But they asked me to make sure nothing was stolen. I did just that, and luckily it seemed anything that was worth something was still in place. So now fast forward to that night. I went to sleep after checking the house.
Dude, is she under your bed?
Oh, I hope not.
Dude.
One place I didn't check.
One more time just for peace of mind. It was hard to fall asleep though. My mind was racing for obvious reasons.
It's gonna start hearing laughing.
Most people can't relate to seeing a stranger at their window inside of their house.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
my restlessness helped me out in this situation, and here's why. I was finally starting to drift away slightly. Then I heard some noises from the other side of me.
Oh.
I had the fan on above me, so the room wasn't dead silent, and that's why I didn't immediately turn to my other side at the first sound I heard.
Right.
But the sound started to sound human-like. I turned to my other side, and there she was, getting out from under my bed.
Dude,
I stood up tall
I
above
knew
the
it.
bed, and I screamed so loud, louder than earlier before. I jumped out of my bed and tackled her to the floor and had my hand around her throat, asking her who she was. My doorbell rang, my neighbor again. I picked the tall, dirty-looking woman up off the floor and dragged her to the front door with me as she struggled and scratched at me. I still have 2 scars on my right arm from her claws.
Oh my
I
god.
opened my front door to my neighbor again, and he let himself in and helped me restrain the woman. This was when I called the police. The whole time we waited for the police, the woman was screaming and cursing at my neighbor and I, threatening us too. The best way to put it, she looked and acted like a meth head currently suffering from withdrawals. When the police arrived, one of the officers knew exactly who the woman was. They had dealt with her multiple times before. Her name was conveniently Karen. It was satisfying to watch her be brought into the back of the police car. I let my neighbor know how grateful I was for him coming so quickly to help. And that night, my mind continued to race. But instead of being completely freaked out, which I still was a little, I felt this overwhelming feeling of satisfaction. And I can't fully explain why.
I can explain why. Because you know it
Yeah, woman under your bed.
Well, he's feeling the satisfaction because, one, it wasn't a damn demon. So at least now he knows it's... The thing is, though, sometimes paranormal and non-paranormal, like sometimes non-paranormal is actually scarier than paranormal. And that's one of those examples, because if it was just a spirit demon lady, you're like, okay, that's freaky as hell, and there's nothing you can do about it, because the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
But you can, try to move out, okay? When it's an actual woman, real life, breathing flesh, living blood, living flesh, she could murder your ass in your sleep. I mean, the demons can mess with you, but to an extent, I mean, depending on how powerful the entity is, but like, that's a living being that can just literally just strike. Like, she was a living person in your room. Like, that's scarier than all hell.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, you got to look at this thing too, not to make you any more paranoid, but how long had she been there? Had she done this countless times? Had she been there for a bit? The police had countless problems with this woman.
He was playing basketball in the middle of the day when he first saw her. So that means she had to be laying under his bed for hours and hours.
Yeah.
just like
Right.
waiting.
Oh my gosh. But I mean, the police have had multiple problems with this woman. So, I mean, why had they not put her in some kind of institution or got her help or something?
Maybe they did.
Like,
Maybe they did, and maybe
oh,
she just got out.
yeah.
That's, who knows? Or maybe they, who knows? But that is freaky. Yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah.
that was 5 disturbing true Home Alone stories. Um, by Mr. Nightmare. That was actually terrifying. So thank you for that, Mr. Nightmare.
Yep.
Love you dearly for that. Um,
Hmm.
and if you like this video, like the reaction, leave a like, comment down below with any other reactions you would like me or us to react to. Um, and subscribe to make sure you get notified as soon as I upload. And I'm Steven Slade, and this is the Night Owl.
Yeah.
And we're terrified, and we're gonna go. So,
Bye.
see you.